We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council meeting for tonight, which is Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. We'll have our invocation by Ms. Elder Trudy Williamson from Harvest for Christ Church, and after that, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem. Please stand for the invocation.
Good evening. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this committee that is here tonight. We pray they be on one accord, Father, with their decision-making. May they make wise and safe decisions that will be beneficial to the citizens of this community. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge. And Ms. Williamson, we appreciate the invocation. Apologize for being late. We had a meeting today for our new facility during renovations, and I had a meeting after the meeting talking to people. So welcome to the City of Douglasville. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. I'd like to welcome you to our legislative work session tonight. The minutes and the information that we'll discover this evening will not have official action. Official action will be taken on the items this evening on Monday night at our work session, but our voting meeting. This is the work session. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda items, comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few protocol items and then we'll get into the meat of the meeting. I ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered of a personal attack on any individual or a group of individuals. You'll receive a warning from the chair. If you deviate from this requirement, a second deviation will request us asking you to leave the premises. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud, react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, or carry on a conversation when you're at the podium. When you're at the podium, we ask that you would please address all of your comments and concerns to myself or city council members, whomever is the chair of that particular committee. I'll remind you that we're only required to accept public comments during required public hearings, and the committee chairperson will let you know if it's a public hearing or not. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you would please put those in silent mode so they will not be disruptive during the meeting, or turn those off until after the meeting. I'll go over the agenda items, how they will be handled, and then we'll get into our meeting. The committee chairperson will read his or her agenda item. Then that person representing that item or applicant will make his or her presentation. You'll come to the podium, give us your name and address, and then you present to the committee chairperson. If it's a public hearing, we'll make comments. There are 20 minutes for those in favor of the public hearing item and 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. Prior to coming to the podium, we ask that you would please fill out a speaker card. There are blue cards outside on the desk. You'll just pick those cards up, put your name and address, bring them to the city. That's not our assistant city clerk. Come on. Yes, ma'am, to the clerk's office. She will get the information and put it into the official record. If you have something to share, any pictures or plats or letters, please hand that to our clerk's office. They'll make copies and disseminate the information to myself and council members. Each person has one opportunity to speak. This is not a debate, question and answer where we're going back and forth. We're here to hear the information, deliberate, and make our decisions. I believe that's it. If you have any printed materials, please give that to our city clerks. And if you want a paper agenda, they're outside. You can pick one up outside or you can follow us on the screen. So now we'll get into our meeting. So we've done our pledge, and these are the announcements. Our first committee is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Council Member Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item under the Economic Development Committee tonight.
Yes,
That
sir.
is to authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to continue the city's participation in the Georgia Classic Main Street program.
Yes, sir.
And we have Mr. Will Smith, the most capable Main Street directors, to guide us on what this will mean.
Is this Will Smith married to Jada Smith, or that's another Will Smith?
As long as he doesn't come and punch anybody here, we're fine.
I know, this the other Will Smith.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, we're proud to acknowledge the recertification of the Douglasville Main Street program, reaffirming our city's commitment to downtown revitalization and community-driven development. Douglasville became a designated Main Street program in 2000, aligning itself with the Georgia Main Street program and the National Main Street Center and the 4 points approach, which are organization, promotion, design, and economic vitality. Since joining the program, Douglasville has worked diligently to foster a thriving downtown environment that respects our historic character while supporting a resilient and forward-looking local economy. The program's objectives: revitalizing downtown, supporting small businesses, preserving heritage, and engaging the community. Some of the benefits, and I'll just highlight a few of them, of participating in the program are: we do receive technical assistance. We do have unique opportunities for branding and promotional opportunities. We have unique tools for small business development, and we are open to a whole host of grants and loans that target our Main Street district. One of the most significant of those financial tools is our availability and our openness to the Georgia Cities Foundation Downtown Revolving Loan Fund, which provides low-interest loans for commercial property improvements and business development within our downtown district. So I wanted to just give a little highlight of the program and what the MOU really stands for as we move forward in our recertification and our work and our continued effort to work with the Georgia Main Street program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any comments or questions from the mayor or council?
Just proud to be a part of the Main Street program. I know it's just something that's very vital in communities. It really does help. And as we always say, we like to, it's kind of like the downtown is the heart of your community. If that is vibrant and thriving, everything else will reverberate throughout the community. So we are just excited to be part of Main Street. We know that it's with those 500 some cities within the state of Georgia, so it's always good to bring highlights and attention to our downtown area.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
I
welcome.
would echo what you said. The Downtown Development Authority was my gateway drug into city politics. That got me sucked in and involved with the community, and it is a great program. It's done a lot for communities, it's done a lot for communities across the state of Georgia, so, and across the country for that matter. So proud to see that we can keep working with it and continuing the good work we've done so far. So thank you, Mr. Smith. Unless there's any objections or qualifications, I'd like to place this item on the consent agenda for Monday.
Looks good.
Hearing no objections, Madam Mayor, that's all we have under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. The Finance Vice Chair and Housing and Community Affairs Committee Chairperson is Councilmember Howard Estes. Would you mind taking those two committees for me, please?
I would be happy to, Madam Mayor. We have no business in either the Finance Committee or the Housing and Community Affairs Committee.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. We're volleyed back to you, Mayor Pro Tem, Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
We do have
welcome.
one item under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, and that is to authorize city council members to attend the Atlanta Regional Commission Regional Assembly of Public Officials on June 26, 2025 at the Cobb Galleria Center. It's a little bit redundant, but I guess our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson, will explain that to us.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. As you all know, there are certain trainings that are already pre-approved for city council members to attend. In your packet, you will see a list of those trainings as well as the ordinance. Some of those trainings consist of the GMA Annual Convention or any type of trainings or events hosted by the Douglas County Chamber. This item before you is for you all to attend the ARC Regional Commission, and it's their first regional assembly of public officials, which is in June. There's been interest by some council members to attend this event. The cost is $45, and it'll be at the Cobb Galleria Center.
Is it $45 per person.
Per person, yes, sir.
Are there any questions or comments from anyone on council? Or Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir. So I'm, of course, a part of the Atlanta Regional Commission's Board of Directors, and so I'm able to attend. But this year, for the first time, they wanted to bring all the elected officials in the area together. We are just going to be coming off of GMA. That's all the elected officials in the state. But this, the ARC thought it would be beneficial to have conversations with just the elected officials in the region to talk about what happened at GMA and just within our communities to help us to have better synergy and to bring all of our resources together. So it looks like it'll be a great event. It's going to be hosted by Atlanta's Mayor Andre Dickens, and the co-host will be the chair for the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, Chairman Lisa Cupid. So I think it'll be great.
Madam Mayor, quick question. Do you know, is there a set agenda going into this, or is it really just kind of open-ended at this?
I believe it's going to be a set agenda. They haven't said yet. We had ARC yesterday, and they just made the announcement for folks to come. They'll probably send something out before our June meeting
So
to
we don't
give
know,
us an agenda.
we don't know what the topics will be yet at this point?
No, sir.
Okay.
Will this be coming out of our training budget? Who are we funding this?
Yes, sir. It will be coming out of you all's training budget.
Any additional
But it'll be a
questions?
it's a new rotation of training because we'll have the budget will have passed, or is this in the current one?
It
as
will
far as-
be, I'll have to check. It depends on whether they will invoice us or whether you all would have to pay upfront, like with a purchasing card. So I will have to check to see how it will be paid.
Yes.
So, but it could, with the event happening in this fiscal year, it will more than likely come from this fiscal year.
It will be this fiscal year or next?
With the event being June 26, which is in this current fiscal year, it will
Okay.
more than likely come from this fiscal year's budget.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Comments down from the far end?
Yeah.
Councilman Hudson?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Fortunately, I have a scheduling conflict, so I cannot attend. I was telling Councilwoman Miller, I wish I could. I think it'd be a great opportunity, like Madam Mayor mentioned, to kind of connect with the other municipalities regionally and kind of compare and contrast issues. And from a cost perspective, it seems like a great, kind of almost free opportunity. Free considering how expensive everything is nowadays, so, thank you.
It's my understanding, this is, what we would be just voting on is simply the authorization, is not
Yeah, you don't have to
requiring
go.
or enabling anyone specifically to go, so it'll still be the individual council member's choice whether they wish to go or not under that authorization, so. Okay.
That's correct.
Is there any objection if we put this item on the consent agenda? Okay. All right, we will
like it's
place this
okay.
on the consent agenda as requested. Madam Mayor, that is all I have under the Legislative Intergovernmental Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you to our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Jackson, for helping us. We'll move on to item 9, Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
do
welcome.
have one item on the agenda tonight to reappoint B. Keith Rollins as Chief Municipal Court Judge for a term of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, and authorize the mayor to sign an employment agreement with him for that purpose. And we're going to hear from my cousin, Judge Rollins himself now.
Your cousin. Oh,
Have a
from,
conflict of interest?
no.
We're not really related. We just talk about it.
They just say that.
We have relatives of the same last name. Did I mention that I love my job?
Yes, sir.
No, I hadn't heard anything about that.
I appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve this city and you entrusting me with this position. We try to do what we can to improve the city from our point of view. Ms. Cochran and Ms. Foreman try to keep things running. Ms. Cochran, see this fist right there? It's iron. That's it. She rules with an iron hand to keep things organized and keep things moving, accusing me of bogging things down from time to time. I know you find it hard to believe that I might talk for a little longer than she feels is necessary, but it does happen, apparently, in her eyes anyway. But thank you for considering me. I appreciate it.
I mean, we're stuck with him for another 2 years. No, we're happy to have him for another 2 years. Everything's going great. He actually's been listening to me, so it's been good.
Okay. We like
Kinda,
hearing that.
sorta.
As long as she thinks I'm listening, I guess it's okay.
That, yeah.
We pretend
that-
it's
shh.
That sounds like marriage, but go ahead.
Thank you, Judge Rollins. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Madam Mayor?
I do. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Judge Rollins, for coming in again and being willing to serve. How many years have you served as our municipal judge?
21.
21. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your staff. We really appreciate Ms. Cochran. How many years have you been here, Ms. Cochran?
8 years.
It's been 8
Yes,
years? That
April
was
8 years.
fast.
I know, it don't feel like it.
I know it. But Judge, I will tell you that I am personally proud of you for being a, you know, you're tall in stature and all of that, but not being an oak tree, being a palm tree, and being able to bend with the new requests that we've made of you as a council, pushing you to do more automation and technology and all those things. So I really appreciate that you could have said, well, you know, I've been the judge for 20 years and we're going to do it this way, but you've been amenable, and we appreciate your flexibility. So thank you so much for that. And how's it going with the associate judge, with the environmental? Going well?
She's doing a great job.
She's doing great, Judge McKnight. Okay, well, thank you so much. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anyone else? Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I'm still considering my vote only based on finding out what the B in B Keith Rollins stands for.
Benjamin,
Benjamin, okay.
Your grandson's name.
exactly. He was when he was born, he was the 4th Benjamin.
Oh,
I'm a junior, so is my father. Jake's middle name is Benjamin, and then Benjamin Andrew, named after both of his grandfathers.
okay, very good.
All right, if that's the case, then
It means the protector, by the way.
very good. I was curious. Thank you, sir. That's-
Anyone else? Okay, well, I would just say, welcome back. We are honored to have you continue. And as long as I see you here and not in your courtroom, we're good.
If we do, nobody will ever know.
So unless there's any objections, I would like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday. Looks good. And then, Madam Mayor, that is all we have for Personnel and Organization Committee tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our municipal judge and staff, court staff. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We do have a couple of items this evening. The first is item 25-209. It says to consider a request for final plat approval to establish Rosalie Park Townhomes for 91 lots on 10.66 acres at 7139 West Strickland in land lots 192 and 193 in District 2, Section 5, parcel ID A196, application by the Acre Group and care of Jacob Bennett, and Mr. James Gordon is going to go over this item with us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
James Gordon, 6695 Church Street. This is a final plat for Roseleaf Park Townhomes. This is located behind the Roseleaf Estate at 7125 West Strickland. This is actually the address is actually 7139 West Strickland. It's located right beside Mill Creek Place Apartments and at the corner of Cedar Mountain Road. They redeveloped this. It pretty much sat on 11 acres. They subdivided it to have 10 acres for the townhome community and 1 acre to remain for the mansion. This shows the development, and it's going to kind of do a little 3/4 horseshoe shape. And then back in the middle of the horseshoe is going to be the amenity area with a playground. And then the yellow that you see is the 1 acre area where the mansion will still exist. This property went through a rezoning in 2023. It went from PUD to PUD, but they changed the restrictions. This was, or previously had a country club restriction on it. Then in 2023, also, they did a development plan. 2024, they split the property with an exemption plat. Then in 2024, again, they did the land disturbance permit, where they subdivided it into 91 units. And now we're working on the final plat so that they can begin construction on those 91 units.
Thank you for that, Mr. Gordon.
And this is just what some of the townhomes
I'm sorry,
will look like.
Okay. So where are they at right now with development? Have they started land disturbance?
Correct. They have the pavement in,
Okay,
all except for the very top surface.
okay,
And they finished the area right outside along West Strickland. They put in a right turn lane. And again, they're putting in the electrical conduits right now, the underground, outside of the pavement. And then they're ready to start building the actual units.
okay. And, I'm sorry, it's been a couple of years, so I guess I kind of needed
Yeah.
a little bit of a refresher. And then I know the home was removed and parceled off, and then that was it being donated, or someone else was purchasing that? I feel like it was some kind of community something. Can somebody
Yeah.
refresh my memory?
It was to be donated to like the Historical Society
Okay.
as offices.
Okay,
So yeah, it's supposed to go to the Historical Society.
okay, and so that's still the plan?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, and everything else is going,
Yeah, everything else
good
will be, there used to be a ranch-style house on one side, and they removed that, and then that's gonna stay green space, and then they'll build the townhomes around the back of the mansion, and then green space along the backside of townhomes.
okay. And then these were for sale, correct?
Yes. These are 1,400 square feet, 2.5 baths with a single-car garage at each unit. They'll be going in approximately the low 300,000s.
Okay, thank you for that. Council, did you guys have any questions for Mr. Gordon? Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. I appreciate the overview, and as our chairman has said, it's been a couple of years, so we had to just refresh our memories. I know this is the final plat. I'm very familiar with this area. This was actually the judge's home at one time, the White House, and Les Jardins Blanc used to have events there. So I was wondering, because I've been there several times, for events that Les Jardins Blanc had, there was it was not a grave site, but was just kind of a cemetery for local families. I don't know, Judge, who the families were, if they were
Yes.
is that still, is that? I
To
had-
the left corner, the southwest corner. If you can look on this drawing where you see that green color, and
Yes,
there's
sir.
a very small little square up in the corner, one of those greeneries, that's the existing cemetery, a small family cemetery with
I
a
don't
crosswalk coming down to
I don't
West
see,
Strickland.
okay, I see the one where it says mail kiosk and tot. Is it by the townhome?
It's the corner of the white.
The corner of the white.
Right there.
Okay. I had the picture too big. Right there, okay. All right, thank you so much. So it will not be disturbed, and there'll be some demarcation or signage or something? Well, I know it's behind the house. It really isn't where the townhomes are, but if people were walking, because the townhomes are behind.
Right, it's already It already has landscaping around it and
Okay.
some shrubbery and a fence, actually a
Okay.
white picket fence around it. So, and it's set so far back off the roadway that it'll still be unseen.
Okay. Well, I just don't want it to be disturbed either, not just.
Oh, no,
Not
no.
aesthetically, visually,
No,
but just.
they,
so people-
when they separated it during the early plat stages, that is still a separate lot. It is not a part of
Of
this
this whole
development. It
development.
is not on the development's property.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize, it's been so long since we last looked at this, and I may have asked this question before. Why isn't there a second exit out of this development?
One thing, this allowed them to begin construction before they tore down the house. The house would have blocked, the ranch-style house would have been sitting just about where that comes out.
Why can't they just simply turn right where the dead end comes on the horseshoe and go out onto Cedar Mountain Road?
That area right there, there's still another house on that corner.
No, I mean, where Cedar Forest Drive comes in, you could.
You're
you
talking
could
back in the
connect
very
right there.
back?
You can have a four-way intersection right there if you wanted.
You would have to take out homes to do that.
Which homes?
Yeah.
The whole section of like 52 through 59.
Oh, you don't want their home? No, they're not, okay, I thought you meant existing. They're not, well, then actually, you could just move, those could be moved. You could rearrange that so that you can have that street come across and then just simply turn the houses 90 degrees on that little side street. That can be done easily.
Yeah, that's,
I,
they decided to get more capacity out of the buildings, so
All I'm saying is that
that's
you
where they
could,
have.
you wouldn't, if you turn those houses, you wouldn't lose any houses on the site. You'd still have the same number of houses. If you connect over to Cedar Mountain Road, you just turn those houses 90 degrees and have them face that little connecting road.
Would they be not uniform with the rest of them?
Why would they not? Why would they be?
but they've already started, like, they've already put in curb and gutter, like, we've already approved
Yeah,
this. This
the-
is the final plat.
Correct. That area back there is actually sitting up a little bit high, a little bit higher. They would kind of do a sharp dip down to Cedar Mountain. They're sitting up a little bit high right now.
And this is,
Well,
They're
what's
looking
high?
down, they're
40
looking
feet or
down
something?
on
4
Cedar
feet?
Mountain Road.
they say it's the final plat
Yeah.
too. It's already been approved.
I
curb
think
and
that
gutter.
that's something that we should have brought up, unfortunately,
I have
back
a
in like
feeling I did.
2023.
That's why I'm asking.
But thank you for that. So if by some chance then the plans change and we get a second entrance exit, I'm sure that people would cheer for that. Okay. Council, did
Okay.
anyone else have questions on that? No? Okay, thank you so much. That's not a public hearing, so are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, go ahead and place it on.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you so much for that, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you.
Moving along, our next item is 25-212. It says, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a variance from section 5.05 of the Unified Development Ordinance to increase the maximum principal building height from 60 feet to 75 feet for 2.526 acres located at 1435 Municipal Parkway in Land Lot 735, District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0017, application by Craig Wire Products, and Mr. Dana Gray is going to go over this item with us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Dana Gray, 6695 Church Street. Again, this is a variance request for Craig Wire. They are a company that produces magnetic wire for motors and generators. They are located at 1435 Municipal Parkway. They came before you in May of 2024, which you approved. Their variance request was to increase the height for a portion of the building from 50 feet to 60 feet, and you all approved that. They began to shop for machinery and discovered that the machinery had changed its specs and now requires 75 feet instead of the 60. So the applicant is requesting to increase the height from 60 feet to 75 feet to accommodate the machinery. and the applicant is present.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gray. And just to make sure, because when we spoke about this earlier, I was looking for a rendering. I think that you had said that only a portion of the building that we would be raising, or they would be wanting to raise
Yes.
the building height, but not the whole building.
Not the whole building.
But it won't look abnormal?
No, it won't look abnormal because they're not facing the street. It's a side view, so it's,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And then have we spoken with fire and all of those people to find out if by raising it, if that would cause any issues?
No, but I can reach out to them for Monday's meeting and have
Okay.
some information for that.
Okay, I would definitely want to make sure from that.
Okay.
Okay. Did the applicant have anything they wanted to add?
Joe Fowler, Post Office Box 49, Douglasville. Good evening, everyone. Allow me to introduce Linda Belcher and then Brent Portwood. They are two of the four founders of Craig Wire Products. That is, as noted, a wire manufacturing firm, operates out of two locations in Douglas County. One of its locations is this particular location. They manufacture wire that goes all across the United States, Mexico, and Canada. They have 70 employees. Founded in 2007, and it manufactures, get this, rectangular and round magnet wire. That is copper or aluminum wire coated with various insulation compounds, and it's used in various applications where electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy, such as in motors, transformers, and generators. It's pretty interesting. I don't
is
understand any of that, but it's interesting. We came before you in May of last year, as was noted a moment ago. We first asked for the property to be rezoned, and I will show you a picture, if I may. I think I'm looking at the wrong. That's the location of the property. We have some pictures that I'd like to show you if possible. That's the site plan of the property. The portion that will be increased in height is to the left as you view that site. Municipal Parkway is to the right, so it's essentially the back of the building. It's configured at 90 degrees. This is another version of the same, and we have some drawings, I hope, that are here. I asked them to be loaded. Maybe someone can help me with that. Pardon me? There's the building. And it is configured there with the height portion, the portion to be raised on your left. The street is to the right. Actually, if you look at the top one, the street is to the left. So the raised portion is 50 feet. It's 130 feet on the back, but 50 feet that would be raised. When we came last time, as you heard, it went from the maximum of 50 to 60. But as I'll explain in a moment, they've discovered something in meetings with industries across the country and around the world, actually, that would enable it to have greater productivity. And this is what the end result would be. You'll see that there, this is the tower portion. That would fit within the 75-foot section. That's the schematic on the left, and you're looking up into the tower area on the right. On the right-hand side, this is their other location on Shaddix Industrial. That height is about 50 feet. What you see on the left is the copper wire being covered with enamel. More on that in just a moment. Those are the two photos. There's an additional photo that shows this property. It's located on Municipal Parkway. To the north, they are all heavy industrial. They're also heavy industrial to the east, light industrial to the south as you get toward Highway 78. The reason for the variance last year was to request a revision to the building so they could construct an oven tower system and applicator. And that's the process used in the application called enameling, that involves coating the wire with very thin applications of enamel and multiple passes over these vertical ovens. Now, the reason we're here, as I started to allude to a moment ago, the company was preparing for the building modification. No portion of the tower has been constructed at all. The basic building height is 35 feet. But several in the management team went to Europe to collaborate with executives from other similar industries. What was discovered is that there is new and innovative technology available in the market, which, if implemented here, will allow for significantly higher efficiencies. And that requires the additional 15 feet that they are requesting. I showed you the picture a moment ago. That's it. The new taller tower includes advanced process controls that allow for superior quality control. And I think Mr. Portwood will further explain the process, and if you have questions about the technical details, they'll be able to provide it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fowler. Did you guys want to add anything to that? Go right ahead. If you'll please just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Say that again, sorry.
If you'll please give us your name and address for the record.
Brett Portwood, home address or work address? 1055 Shaddix Industrial Way in Douglasville. So, Madam Chair, councillors, good evening. Once again, I'm back again before you. Like a bad smell, I'm hanging around. As Joe explained to you, that we currently purchased the facility in Municipal Parkway. We're currently installing manufacturing equipment. We've segregated an area out for the new technology equipment. We came before you last year to get approval for the variance, and graciously we were granted approval. So that area is still destined to be for that kind of equipment. When we started looking to purchase or to inquire about the current equipment on the market today, we went to Europe to manufacturers, the latest and greatest taller pieces of equipment. So obviously we haven't purchased any. We're back before you tonight to ask again for additional variance that we're able to raise the roof in addition to what we asked for last year to accommodate the equipment that we want to put in. The equipment that we've installed and we're in the commissioning stage now is for the transformer market. We see a potential growth and business opportunity with power distribution, transformers, data centers. There's a huge demand for power requirements for distribution and data centers. So we're trying to meet the market demand by installing the equipment. We will be coming on stream within 6 to 8 weeks on certain parts of the equipment that we have currently installed. Doesn't require the enameling structures. So we want to start the business, get growing with customer base, and then morph into retrofitting the existing facility to start accommodating an additional product line. So that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that explanation.
You're welcome.
Council, Madam Mayor, you had a question?
I do. I had a couple of questions. Thank you so much for presenting. I'm sure you're going to, don't be nervous. I'm not going to bite you, just.
That's all right.
Okay. So the next 15 feet that you want to raise the tower from the 60 that you initially asked, and you did mention about more coming online, more power coming online, AI and all of that, and we have data centers all over the community. Would this affect the power grid? Is it going to be more intrusive on the power grid? This is the first question. Then secondly, you said the latest and greatest is that they're a little bit taller, and technology changes so much. In the next 5 years, are you going to need 10 more feet? Is this going to be like the Tower of Babel? You're going to keep building higher and higher? And then the last question is, I just attended a civic meeting with Ward 1, which this is located in, would be located in, and some of their concerns was the air travel from Hartsville-Jackson and how close it is to the residents' homes and subdivisions. So would this interfere with air traffic? Do you know, I know those are some wide questions, but do you have any information on those three issues? Yes,
The last question first.
Yes, sir.
We do not require navigational lights on the structure.
Okay,
So
great.
If the planes
So you do
are-
not require navigational
No,
lights?
if the planes are that low, we're in trouble.
Okay.
They're going to land on Highway 78 if that's the
Yeah,
case.
and would you have the middle question, is it going to keep growing to the Tower of Babel, or is it
No,
going?
ma'am.
Okay, and then the first one was the power grid.
Just case in point, the demand for transformers. We've been waiting 14 months now for Georgia Power to allocate us an upgraded transformer for that location. It has been approved, so within the next 2 to 4 weeks, the upgraded transformer will go in. So to answer your question, it's not going to draw more power from the local community.
All right.
The
Do you
lights will
use
still be
water?
bright here. I'm
Would you
sorry?
have water as well to cooling agents, or do you need the water as well?
The facility has water. We have recirculating tanks and city water to top up the tanks.
So everything has been cleared with Water and Sewer Authority? Do you know? Mr. Fowler?
Yes, ma'am, it has. They do recirculation water for cooling purposes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Mr. Chair. Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I'm just kind of curious, the reason for the height in the building itself, and it's not extruding the wire itself, though, right? Or is the wire's already in its current form? You just need that additional surface area that's exposed while you
It's,
resurface it?
the wire's already shaped,
Okay.
and we're applying a film around the conductor, so spray paint for better terms. It travels vertically through ovens to bake the product to the conductor. The temperatures inside the ovens are around 950 degrees Fahrenheit. When it exits the oven, the additional height that we're seeking is for cooling the product before it hits the top round wheels.
So it needs that exposure.
Correct.
Additional
And come back.
exposure.
Well, it's in cooling plenums, ducted air vents, if you like, to cool the product, because copper is a good transition of heat, and aluminum as well.
Sorry, I didn't mean to geek out on that.
No, you're fine.
That's kind of cool, though.
I
Just
felt
really
more
interesting.
comfortable answering that one.
And looking at the building too, it could also serve a dual purpose. You could project movies on Saturday nights onto the side of it. Be a great drive-in.
We could, but that won't be an option.
I don't know if that's a code issue, but we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Did anyone else have any questions about this? No.
I just, one more, now you made me think, I'm a preacher, so now I think like King Nebuchadnezzar, it's a furnace inside of there? Is it going to be okay, like if anything happens with the
It's-
heat?
Yeah, it's electrical elements. I know it's
900 degrees?
a little bit hotter than the kitchen stove, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there
for that.
anything that we need around there, Mr. Gray, to keep the insulate, or it's all on how they build, they know what they're doing, right? Okay, we'll leave
Yeah,
it alone.
it's- Yeah.
You've been doing
Thank
this for a few years, haven't you?
Absolutely. You guys, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we need to go ahead and get that done, please. So if we have, you can take a seat.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. If we have anyone here who would like to speak either for or against this item, now is your chance. You'll come down and give us your name and address for the record. And if we don't have anyone, we'll go ahead and close that public hearing. We'll take this item up on Monday. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Our next item is item 25-213. Says, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a variance from section 4.08 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for the canopy accessory structure to be placed in the front yard and encroach in the front yard setback at 11 feet on a land lot of 1.30 acres at 9465 Highway 5 in Land Lot 160, District 2, Section 5, Parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings. And Mr. Dana Gray is going to go over this item with us.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
The applicant is proposing a convenience store with gas pumps, and they're also adding on 4 retail stores. Again, this is located at 9465 Highway 5, which was formerly a Walgreens and then Pop Shelf. So it's at the corner of Highway 5 and Douglas Boulevard. So the applicant is requesting 3 variances, one being the first one, Councilwoman Miller read, to allow the canopy in the front yard and to also allow the canopy to encroach 11 foot into the 50-foot front yard setback along Douglas Boulevard.
Okay. Is the Pop Shelf not still there?
Yeah, what happened to the pop shelf?
I think it's,
Okay.
I mean, the sign is still there. I don't-
Okay, I guess they're on their way out.
Right.
Okay, maybe they know already.
And I do believe the applicant said they were.
Right here,
Hey.
okay.
Okay.
And I'm just trying, bless you. Is there any reason that this canopy structure variance would pose an issue to either neighboring properties or for safety reasons or anything like that?
No. They're, because of the way the canopy is built, it's not encased in 4 walls. It just has piers, so it doesn't give you that heaviness of its presence. So if it's pushed back 33 foot, you kind of can see it, but you don't really see it because the canopy top is really high.
Okay,
But if it was encased, you would really see that being close to the front yard
okay.
lot line.
Thank you. Council, questions, comments on this item? Mayor Pro Tem, you're almost out of turns.
It's like a chess match, you only get so many moves. Thank you. That is my ward, so I get a freebie on this one, I think. Where, the gas tanks, where are they being located on? Am I trying to, is that, are they immediately,
It
am I
looks like
reading that, are they
they're-
to the right of the canopy?
It looks like it's on the right of the canopy.
There's 2 lozenge-shaped, okay, so that's where the gas tanks are gonna go.
Yes.
And they're reusing the entire building as is
Yes.
that correct?
So they're mostly doing interior renovation to have the convenience store and the 4 retail shops, and then they might update the exterior of the wall.
But the footprint's not changing on the building?
I'm sorry?
The footprint of the building's
No,
not changing?
no.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Anyone else?
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman Miller. Is there any renderings on any of these slides? So that we can have a better understanding of what this looks like?
I'm sorry?
Is there any renderings available on any of these slides?
I don't think they presented the renderings to us. You did?
We issued a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, so it might be loaded in.
Yeah, I think the closest that I'm seeing is like this right here on page 18. Okay.
On page 18 is
Sorry about
kind of,
that. That's it.
Well, it's just, yeah, there's no plan, I mean, there's no
yeah.
elevations, it's all just plans.
Mhm.
Okay. Did the applicant, would you like to add anything, go over this with us? And if you'll please just give us your name and address for the record.
Terry Boomer, LJA Engineering, 130 East Main Street, Canton, Georgia. Madam Chair, Mayor, Council, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited about this because we're taking dark space and we're making it light and bright and vibrant again. We'll update and upgrade the facade, maybe even a fresh coat of paint. We'll bring it bright and light and new again. The client has done 3 of these. This will be his 3rd, should you rule in our favor. And he's real successful in bringing it up to modern day aesthetic purposes while serving his needs, of course. but we'll increase a little bit of tax revenue. We'll bring some jobs in where we've got a failing business and a dark business now that we don't want. I don't think any city wants something to go dark and vacant. So in doing so, in the commercial real estate that's around there and the supporting Highway 20 right off of 5, it just seemed like a real good application for this development. As you may or may not know, and you're very informed, and I really, really was impressed with your formal commentary on the previous presentations. It's refreshing to have somebody so technologically informed. But with the code in ARC attendance, you'll see that some jurisdictions have special setbacks for canopies. And so if this jurisdiction had that written into their code, we wouldn't be here because the canopy setbacks are 15, 20 feet. However, we are here. So we are asking for that 11-foot variance to that structure. If you want brick on the columns, if you want something special, we're all for that. We want to make this center successful for us, but something that the mayor and council and planning commission and planners can get behind and support. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that note, I guess when it comes to materials being used, if possible, I definitely would like to see some better renderings by Monday, so we could maybe talk about materials that you guys are looking to use. Yeah, that's the only one that I saw on there.
I apologize. We
No,
do
it's
have
okay.
renderings, and we have photos of the last one that we just did in Gwinnett County, the exact same building that I'll
Okay.
provide. Yep,
That would be great then. Okay.
absolutely.
Council-
And Madam Chair, that was a nice little curtsy you did when you entered up at the top.
One other thing, Madam Chair, the Highway 5 master plan, there have been some discussions of right-of-way issues, and I'm wondering if this property is going to be affected in any way by the right-of-way, I don't know if there's going to be acquisitions or not, if that might impact the parking around the building. Do we know anything about where that is as far as that goes?
No, but I can talk to the engineers about that and have some information for you.
We don't want these guys to get too far down the road and suddenly find out they're losing their parking on the side, but
Correct.
they might be.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Let's definitely get that information then for Monday as well. Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for your comments. We are always trying to better our city and learn from others around us, and you mentioned something about, and have best practices. So you mentioned something about other communities that may already have in their ordinances about canopies. So I would ask staff, our Deputy City Manager, to look into that, and Community Development, Mr. Gray, maybe to see if there's something that we can already have in our ordinances that, you know, we can provide so that applicants will not have to come before us. I mean, it is hot in Georgia, so having canopies would make sense. It does give you some shade for your facility, and a little awning or something for people when you have businesses. So that could be something we can look at, maybe to see if we can implement that into
We are
our
actually
ordinances.
working on a text amendment now.
Oh, great.
We currently treat canopies as part of the building, correct? When it
sorry?
comes to the building code. We treat the canopy as part of the building, correct?
Accessory structure.
It's accessory.
It's counted as an accessory structure, okay.
Yes.
So he was saying that then other communities
Right.
that they have, it's already built in, 10 feet or
Right.
however many. So thank you for
Remember how
being
our
on the
code went
forefront of
on
that. Thank you for recommendation, too.
Absolutely. Okay, anyone else? Guys, at this time, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone here who would like to speak on this item, now is your chance. And if not, we're going to roll on to, oh my goodness. Make sure I'm keeping up with this properly. Looks like item C then.
D.
Yep, so let's go ahead and close that public hearing, and our next item is item 25-213. I'm sorry.
We already did 3, we're on 214, 214, item D.
Item D is in David.
Thank you for that. I was just making sure y'all were paying attention.
I know, it's a lot going
Yeah,
on.
Thanks. So item 25-214 says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a variance from section 4.08 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow the proposed building to encroach 11.5 feet in a front yard setback on a land lot of 1.30 acres at 9465 Highway 5 and land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings. And Mr. Dana Gray is going to go over this with us.
Okay, and the second request for the variance is at the back of the building, there's a small portion that's encroaching into the 50 front yard setback on the Highway 5 side. You can see the dash line going through the red building, indicated by the red. It's encroaching about 11 foot into that front yard setback for Highway 5.
And I'm really glad that Mayor Pro Tem brought up that future land use, because we definitely need to take a look at the Highway 5 corridor study rather.
So I'll include that in this.
Yeah, causing any future issues. Did you have anything to add to this?
Terry Boomer, LJ Engineering, 130 Main Street. The miter that's in that top right corner that goes through the building was a product of a previous right-of-way dedication when the improvement to 5 went into place and the additional lanes went in. So that forced this building into a non-compliant situation, and we're just trying to clean that item of the code up, element up. Thank you.
Mayor, council, did you guys have anything to add on this particular item? If not, let's go ahead and open that public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak either for or against this item. And if not, we're gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. The next item is item 25-215. Says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for variance from section 8.01 of the Unified Development Ordinance to reduce the required parking spaces from 56 parking spaces to 33 parking spaces on a land lot of 1.30 acres located at 9465 Highway 5 and land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings. And Mr. Dana Gray is going to answer any questions we may have on this.
And this is the last request for them to reduce the parking from 56 spaces to 33.
Thank you. Would you like to speak on this one for us, please?
Terry Boomer, LJ Engineering, 130 East Main Street, Canton, Georgia. If I may, the convenience store itself is, everybody knows what a convenience store is, and the name is in its title, convenience. We're not gonna park, and we're not gonna stay long here at a convenience store. We're gonna go in, we're gonna get our bread, we're gonna get our milk, we're gonna get our winning lottery ticket, or we'll park at the pumps. The code, I don't believe, and Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, but the code does not count the parking at the pumps as parking spots to meet code compliance. So, but we all know that when we pump gas, we stop at the gas pump. If we go inside to pay, our car is left at the gas pump, thus a parking spot in theory. So, and then while we're in the convenience store, we're not lingering, we're not loitering, we're getting our convenience store item that our better half called us up to get on the way home, and in my case, and then we go about our business and about our day, freeing up that parking spot. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So what you've said to me makes sense, with the exception of the other 3 spots that are not convenience stores. I'm not sure what their future use is going to be, but that may not be a run in and run out. And if you get down to 33 spots, I mean, that's less than 10 spots per unit. Was, I don't know, like maybe around 7 or 8. So I know at any given day, last time I had run in racetrack the other day, and there was a lot of people in there. It was definitely more than 10. Do you?
I agree with that. We typically write into our leases on, we like to get a 3 to a 4 parking spot per 1,000. And one of these spaces, see if I've got a different site plan. The rear space, he has not really confirmed that as a viable rental space, and it may just end up staying vacant and, or for storage. But at this time, your point is duly noted. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Madam Mayor, Council, did you guys have any thoughts on this? No. At this time, this is a public hearing, so if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, now is your chance. If we don't, we're going to go ahead and close this public hearing. If you could please just make sure that we get some renderings for Monday so that we can go over. And Council, if you guys come up with any other questions or thoughts, I know we wanted to check the heights and the Highway 5 corridor update to make sure that that won't interfere.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening for planning and development.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. You also have the next committee, Public Improvement and Beautification.
Yes, ma'am, and we have no business this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business at this time, thank you.
You're welcome. Public Safety Committee, the Vice Chair is Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have several items under the Public Safety Committee this evening.
Yes, sir.
First is to adopt an ordinance to amend Chapter 82, Traffic and Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Douglasville to enact Article 8, Stopping, Standing, or Parking. And we're going to have a tag team of our Counselor Miranda Jordan and our Assistant Chief J.R. Davidson. Explain this to us.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Mayor, and members of council. Miranda Jordan, staff attorney. And I'm presenting this item on behalf of Ms. Woodward, who prepared, lovingly prepared this wonderful ordinance for your consideration. Currently, the city does not have its own set of regulations regarding stopping, standing, and parking, and the city has solely relied on state law to be able to prosecute parking violations. The challenge with state law is that an officer would have to wait by an improperly parked vehicle for the owner or driver of that vehicle to return to the vehicle to be able to issue a citation under our, a uniform traffic citation. And that takes away from the ability for our officers to be patrolling the streets.
For
So-
handicap.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is already one that can be done under state law and under our current ordinance. It is included in this proposed parking ordinance as well. With this new parking ordinance under our municipal code, officers can write tickets to be left at the vehicle, and those are civil citations. So the ordinance will incorporate the following. It sets forth the notice requirement to notify the vehicle owner and provide the vehicle owner with process of how to dispute the ticket. Provides for consequences of the repeated offenses. It identifies places or zones where parking is prohibited, including the handicap parking spaces and red and yellow curbs, which are fire lanes designated for no parking, no standing, no stopping. Requires that private owners of lots comply with the designated disabled parking spaces and provides for the range of fines for each violation.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Madam Mayor, you have a question?
You know I do, always do. Deputy Chief, so if a car is parked in the wrong direction, like right now, if everyone's parked out in front of the conference center and everyone's facing towards the Grits Brunch Bar and somebody is in the wrong direction, you can go write a ticket and stick it on a car?
Correct. That was added after the committee meeting.
Okay, so that one was added. I was just at Longhorns on Monday after my WSA meeting, and somebody was sitting in the parking right in front of UPS, out the car, just walking. And I looked to make sure because you said it was a fire lane, and it wasn't. It does have no parking in fire lanes, and people still park there. So now we can write a ticket and put it on the window because they're parked in the fire lane in front of Longhorns, the beauty place, all of that.
Correct.
We can write a ticket. Boom shakalaka. That's all I need. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other questions? Mr. Estes?
Not really a question, just a comment. I found a typo in the ordinance.
I also found a typo in the ordinance. Would that happen to be under number 18?
Yes, it is. Okay.
That was our addition, and that was my typo, so I do apologize.
No,
That would be-
I just wanted to make sure you knew, so it was corrected before it gets voted on.
I am impressed with your ability to read that far in this document, so, but thank you very much.
Absolutely.
We wanna make
Thank you
sure
for doing
everything's
this. This
correct.
is long overdue. I'm thrilled that we're getting it taken care of.
And if they're parked all over doing concerts in people's yards, if we have any concerts and they're on Club Drive or any of those ancillary streets coming to the concert and they're parked in front of somebody's house or whatever, we can issue a ticket.
So it only covers areas that have been designated as no parking that have signage. So it doesn't make it illegal to park on any city street, because most neighborhoods and stuff, they want to be able to do that. So it's only if there's signs, and we do have signage on Club Drive right now.
Yes, sir. So that's what I was going to ask. I know, like in Arbor Station, when we had their town hall, they were asking about signage on that, I don't know, Creekwood, that has no parking this side of the street. So if, during the concerts, if Club Drive or some other street has no parking and people park on those streets, they can get tickets. But they can't get a ticket like on, I can't think of the name of the street right now.
But I don't think, is Club Drive posted right now?
Deputy Chief said
Yes,
Club Drive is
It
posted.
is posted.
It is posted.
Okay.
I think
As
one-
long as it's posted.
One of the things I think we talked about in the committee meeting was clarifying some of the signage, because we have just simply no parking, whereas I think we were hoping that we could change those to no parking this side, just so people know, or, I mean, or we could say no parking both sides if that's necessary in certain streets, but I think that might be helpful so people understand that even though they'll park literally under a sign that says no parking, that they know there's no parking this side.
Yeah, so we can look at the signs. I know in downtown areas, they usually have an arrow that points no parking until you get to a sign that says, points the other direction. But those are usually for smaller roads where people are going to see it. If you have a longer road, we usually just put more signs out.
Right.
Is there any other infrastructural issues that we need to look at? I mean, in terms of signage or painted curbs and like that, are we pretty much covered as far as that goes right now? This will apply to whatever is already currently marked. Is that?
Yes, it'll apply to whatever, it has to be a city no parking sign, so nobody can just go out and put their own no parking sign in front of their house.
We don't have to put up I've seen that some cities will put up, like signs that are very specific, there's no parking per city ordinance 72 dash whatever, do we need to have
I
something
don't
like
think
that
that's
thorough?
required because of our ordinance. It just has to be posted and authorized by the city.
Okay.
But Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair, but we have, the staff has provided us with those private parking. It says private property or something during concerts that people, if they don't want them to park in their yard, there are blue signs that say private something. What does it say?
No public parking.
There you go.
Yes, but I don't think, and Deputy Chief, you know all about those signs, that would not be a sign legally that we could put a ticket on a car, correct?
No, I believe that's a deterrence so people don't go in their yard.
Yes.
Your recourse there is, I think, just having them towed, but you have to have.
If they're on your private property with their vehicle, you can have that removed.
but
Yeah,
you
because
have to have-
that's been a concern. Some people pulled in people's
That is a-
driveways and on their yard.
That leads a question. Do private citizens have to post that if you're going to tow somebody parking on your private property, do you have to have a sign that tells people that and where the car's being towed to, or is that required by law?
That's outside the scope of this ordinance,
Right.
but that would be something that I can look up for under state law.
It might be good just to let people know about that, because I'm sure there's, especially in downtown because of the concerts, people would probably want to have a recourse to just discourage people from parking on their property. If, in that case, they need to know, do they have to post it in a certain way, and do they have to tell people what the consequences are if they do park there?
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Davis,
can I have it now?
you have the floor.
Okay. Mr. Miranda, right now, we have signs throughout our great city, 2 hours parking, and if I work here, I just park in the 2-hour park and do my 8-hour shift. We will be monitoring 2-hour eating, so somebody else will have opportunity to use the 2-hour.
For the parking that is downtown that is designated as 2-hour parking only?
Yes.
I'd have to go look. I didn't think we had those signs anymore. We used to
I've
use
seen-
them when we had a parking control officer.
I'll take some pictures and send them to you in a
Okay.
few minutes.
But,
He's right, I think we do have on some of the side streets there.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have a mechanism right now in order to measure the time. There used to be when there was a dedicated employee that only did parking, and I think they put marks on tires. and stuff
Mark
like
the tires and come back in 8 hours. Oh, they work here. Okay.
Is that before the parking deck, Councilman Davis?
I've known employees park right there. It's got 2-hour sign all day long.
Yeah, I think they probably do predate the deck, those signs. Any other questions or comments from mayor, council? Okay. Were there any, I think there was nothing, I think we pretty much resolved all of our questions. I don't think there's anything we need to revisit on Monday, is there? If not, then we'll just place this on the consent agenda. Everybody's okay with that? Okay, we'll do that. The next item is consider a request for the transfer of location for the alcoholic beverage license for the on-premises sale and consumption of wine and malt beverages and spirituous liquor at the following location. The licensee is T's Brunch Bar LLC. The current location is 6700 Douglas Boulevard, Suite 2000. The proposed location is 12377 Veterans Memorial Highway. The agent outlet manager is Tanisha Forts. Required fees have been paid to the finance department. Ms. Forts, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing?
I'm moving from, I closed Arbor Place down, so I'm moving back into my old building
You
that I was in 2 years
Give us your
ago.
name and
Oh,
address for the record.
Tanisha Forts on 12377 Veterans Memorial Highway.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So you are moving back to where you were before, is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Long story.
We're happy to have you.
I'll start with any questions or comments from anybody on the council. Madam Mayor.
I do have a quick question. I know Ms. Forts has had several alcohol license for our businesses that she's blessed us to have in the city of Douglasville, and we talked about not having the applicant come into us for renewals. So I wasn't sure, and maybe it's because it's a different location and not just agent outlet manager, but it's time consuming, for them to come in once they've already proven themselves. She has not had any violations in any of her businesses. So, to have her come all the way in and sit through an hour and a half of the meeting, just asking, because I know we're trying to make it more convenient for our, our business
It
owners.
does build character.
It builds character. She had enough character. All right. Ms.
Yes, ma'am. Karen Callan, Assistant City Manager, Chief Financial Officer, 6695 Church Street. And we did not pull in location change into the last ordinance that we updated, only ownership change. We thought location change, you might still want to have that come before you. And that's basically what she is doing, location change, and she is adding liquor as well.
Okay,
So
so
that's
if,
why.
if Mrs. Forts wants to have her daughter, who is the manager or someone else within the business, transfer ownership to the managing person on day-to-day for the license, she doesn't have to come back to us. It'll go to the police chief or to the city manager's office, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's
Okay.
correct. Yep.
All right, thank you. Just making certain.
I had a question because the state license has been done, and because we have to wait so many weeks for me to come back in here, it's difficult. Like, she keep emailing. Sometimes it's difficult when they try to make me start over again and pay again. I just been telling her, hey, this is the first, I had to wait 4 weeks because they approve the location switch swiftly, and the city takes a little longer because of the council. So that puts a little damp. I hope I don't have to start over again because it did take. She's been emailing me back and forth for like a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we can look into, if they've been with us for, several years, not because what Mrs. Force is saying is that it was already cleared at the state, but because she had to wait for the next round of council meetings, it's been 4 weeks, and she may have to reapply again with the
Yeah, I
state.
can talk with Stephanie. I know Stephanie is handling this. I thought she said we are still waiting on the state. But as soon as we get approval from the state, then we're good to go.
So we have to have your approval and then their approval.
Okay,
So they have to have the
gotcha.
city approval, and then they approve it. As soon as she get it to them, like 2 days later,
Okay.
then they'll give it to me. So they're waiting on, we wait for the city, and then they get it to me.
Okay, so
But all
then,
my documents and everything, I've been done with them. We're just waiting on the city.
okay, gotcha. So then Monday night, she'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can send it into the state.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
All right.
Any other questions? I think we can forego the usual about their training and all that. You've been doing this for a few years.
Yes,
I
sir.
think you got that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, then, I guess we can come back on Monday. We'll have a decision for you at that.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank
See
you.
on
Thank you
Monday.
so much.
Okay,
We
thank you.
appreciate
One
you.
last question, Mr. Davis.
What would be, good evening, what would be operating hours? I've seen it on here. Historical operate 11 to 4, 11 to 6,
Yes.
operating.
Yes, sir.
Temporary, right?
Well, it's brunch, so it's not an evening place. Sometimes when I have, maybe if I have an event upstairs in the upstairs part, it might last a little longer, but I don't like really late hours.
So you do have entertainment on your permit?
Yes,
Okay.
it should be. I pay for it.
Good.
Live entertainment, yeah, I pay for that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
See y'all Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, one final item under public safety, and that is to authorize the mayor to sign the Flock Safety Agreement with Flock Group, Inc. in the amount of $124,100 annually for software and professional services related to the Flock OS software system, paid for with Police General Funds 100-3212-54.22400. And our fantastic Deputy Chief Davidson will be explaining the system to us.
J.R. Davidson, 2083 Fairburn Road. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mayor, and Council. In 2023, we entered a 3-year contract with a company called Fusus, and it provided an online platform basically for a real-time crime center. And what it does is it allows you to access not only city-owned cameras at parks and buildings, but as well as commercial properties, commercial buildings that agree to integrate into the system. After we started to use it, we have not been able to have any buy-in that we wanted from the community. There's actually only one business that was willing to integrate the cameras. And we also found that our officers did not have buy-in to the system. One of the reasons is because it didn't have a lot of cameras other than the city-owned ones. Another one is that we just have a lot of platforms that officers have to log into on their computers, because this is also accessible to the officers in their cars. So back in 2020, we began a contract with Flock, providing LPR cameras, which is the license plate readers. And as soon as we began using Flock, it immediately had buy-in from our officers, and we started solving cases very quickly with that, and it's been super successful. So Flock now has a competitor product to the Fusus Real-Time Crime Center platform. It's called Flock OS. And we feel that our officers are so comfortable using Flock already, they're all logging into it anyway, that it's going to be there in front of them in their cars and at our real-time crime center. And particularly, the Flock OS system offers what are called community cameras as part of the package. So you may be familiar, if you're in a Walmart, you see a camera in the middle of the parking lot that has a blue flashing light. These are going to be a green flashing light, and it's going to be a camera built on usually a light pole in a parking lot. And so as part of this package, we get 30 cameras. And we are strategically finding the locations that we're going to be placing those. But we don't have to depend on buy-in from a business. We can put a camera in their parking lot or in the right-of-way of the road.
good.
And our officers will have access to that. And we can also encourage businesses to buy their own Flock community cameras going forward after we put the 30. So essentially, we feel like this is a much better fitting product for our officers. So we're canceling, our intent is to cancel the last year of the Fusus contract and start with the Flock contract, which will be a 3-year agreement that can be canceled at the end of each year. And the price is $900 less per year than what we were paying for Fusus.
money,
So we already have this money budgeted for Fusus. We want to switch it to the Flock product.
Yes, sir.
And this system, I think we had discussed trying to get some of the apartment complexes to buy in, and this would be they would tie into the same system, correct? If they choose to.
It is. In fact, we chose at least one apartment complex for our initial outlay of cameras. And we will probably grow that going forward and try and get businesses to also.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Chief, any questions or comments, Mayor or Council? Perfect. Councilman Estes.
Just a quick question out of curiosity. How much, I mean, you said you would hopefully offer to businesses in the area to purchase their own of these individual cameras. Do you have an idea of ballpark how much those are?
They're $1,500
Okay.
a year. So it's
Less than I would have guessed.
yes, it's cheaper than the Flock license plate reader cameras. It's
Okay.
designed for a business so they can put one in their parking lot, and you see it. When you go to that store, there's a green flashing light and signage that says this is being monitored by police in real
Yeah.
time.
That would be a great.
So it's
All right.
deterrent.
Thank you very much.
And the businesses are renting them, they're not purchasing the cameras, is that correct?
Correct. It's all the cameras that Flock has, they're completely maintained by Flock. You don't have to do upgrades. The business won't have to do upgrades. It's all done by part of the contract.
Very good.
Mr.
Madam Mayor, you have something?
It's just that quickly, I thought about something, Councilman Estes made that inquiry. Maybe when the business licenses go out, we can put that as a little blurb or just an attention, something that if they wanted to invest for their business, that they can connect with the police department. I think it would be a great deterrent for crime, just in all businesses, to have those in apartment complexes. If it's that fee of $1,500, I think that would be good. So maybe just a, inquiry. We're not trying to force it on them, but I know they will be integrated in the police department's camera system. And for that amount, I think it'll be good for businesses. So in the business license, not sure if we can do that or not. If it's legally, if it's intrusive, I don't know. Just asking. No, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sounds pretty good. I don't think we have any objections with this on the consent agenda. Sounds like we will. All right, Madam Mayor, it's all about solving crime.
I know it.
That's all we have under the Public Safety Committee at this time.
Thank you. Our last committee that has business is Recreation, Culture, and Tourism. The Vice Chair is Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We do have one item this evening, and that is my apologies for butchering someone's name, but to appoint Saska Dure to the post-6 member of the Douglasville Public Art Commission for an unexpired term ending July 1st of 2028, and Ms. Chelsea Jackson is going to go over this with us.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. As you all know, I have a memo that is attached to the item. There are 2 vacancies on the Public Arts Commission. About 2 weeks ago, city staff alongside Councilman Howard Estes interviewed an individual for that appointment. She was a very lovely interview. She meets all qualifications, and there are currently no other individuals or applicants that would like to be appointed to this commission. The term is for an unexpired term expiring in 2028, July 1.
Thank you for that. And Councilman Estes, you interviewed the candidate?
I did, and I have to say, even if there were other candidates, she would be a strong choice. She's amazing, very energized about the possibility. I think she will be a wonderful addition to the commission.
I'm so glad to hear that. Council, any thoughts? Are there any Madam Mayor?
Oh, I don't have an
I'm so
objection.
sorry.
I just wanted to say that her resume is very impressive. She graduated from Kennesaw State, where our deputy city manager had her master's degree, hoo-de-hoo, and Troy University. But the languages that she speaks, I think, is instrumental. She was an exchange student, like Mayor Pro Tem's daughter does this, recruiting out of the country. She has French, Spanish, Haitian, so she has a lot of languages that she speaks, and she's studied abroad. So I think bringing that perspective to the Arts Commission will be great. And she is a resident in Tributary, I believe. Okay?
She lives
Yeah,
down
so
in
this
my
is
ward,
exciting.
even better.
That's wonderful. Okay, thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Then, are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening for Recreation, Cultural, and Tourism.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. I'll ask Councilmember Elena Hudson, if you wouldn't mind, please taking the last 2 committees, Technology and Transportation Committees. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no new business under the Technology Committee this evening, and we have no business under the Transportation Committee this evening.
Thank you so much. Under other business, do we have any other business from council members? I had a couple of things. I have two great announcements. One was in the paper a couple of weeks ago, but we were at Atlanta Regional Commission yesterday, and they made two announcements about Douglasville, Douglas County. So Douglas County received a $500,000 grant for safety from the ARC, because out of the 150 counties, we're the 24th, Madam Chair just came back from ACCG, 24th most affluent in the state of Georgia, with household incomes up in the 90,000, medium household income. But the safety grant is for not having major percentage of major accidents at those major intersections in our community. So they've given us, or given the county, and the cities in the county, $500,000 to help beef up those major intersections, to help us not to have fatalities. The second one, and Deputy City Manager can chime in, our Representative Ms. Sarah Ray from the Chamber called before I could tell it really fast. But the city of Douglasville, out of 16 communities, was awarded a community infrastructure. Georgia Tech's going, are you going to talk about it, Mr. Gray? Sure. And so it'll be on Highway 5. You have not, because you asked, not Highway 5 and Douglas Boulevard. So, Mr. Gray, if you'll take it away, out of 16 communities, they said Douglasville got this, so.
Yep. So this is very exciting. ARC, Atlanta Regional Commission, awarded us the CDAP, which is the Community Development Assistance Program, which provides planning and technical assistance. So we will be partnering with Georgia Tech Urban Design Studio for the vision of Arbor Place Mall, which is on Douglas Boulevard and the surrounding areas of Highway 5 and Chapel Hill. So the vision for Arbor Place Mall is creating walkability, mixed retail, office space, residential, public green space, and traffic mitigation. So this will become a strong commercial corridor. So it gives us the opportunity to placemate with public art, include smart technology, engage with the community, and focus on pedestrian use, disability. So we really can create some wonderful things for the community. So I'm very excited about this.
Thank you. So you all wonder what I'm doing at ARC? That's what I'm doing. No, but thank you, Mr. Gray.
Oh, so we did an application process, and part of that application is getting support, a letter of support from, so I'm going to give some thanks at this moment. So one being Mayor Robinson, we thank you. Let me get my glasses on so I don't get this wrong. Michael Carey, General Manager of Arbor Place Mall. Leslie Chu, Chair of Douglasville Development Authority. Emily Leitner, Executive Director of the Cultural Arts Council. And Chris Humphreys, President of Elevate Douglas Economic Partnership. So
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is exciting. So when
This
they
is very
interviewed
exciting.
me at ARC, they said, why should we come to Douglasville? So we have all those partners that shows that we have commitment in the community and we all support each other. So that was a strong indication, and it really helped, I'm told, to help us with our application.
Yes.
So this is really good because it's going to, we're talking about a dog park and all that at the mall, but it's going to help repurpose the mall and that whole area, which is your ward. But thank you,
awesome.
Mr. Day.
Thank you.
Any comments from council?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, we've been talking about this for so long, and it's exciting that there's finally a little bit of movement and some cash behind it.
Yes.
That the opportunities and the potential of the mall are so tremendous. We're seeing that in a lot of malls throughout the country that are being redeveloped and repurposed. The traditional mall is dying. You can't support it for an extended period of time. You know, they've got to reinvent themselves, and this is their opportunity to finally to do that. And I'm glad to hear that Michael Carey's name was on that list,
Yes,
because that's
yes.
critical to have the mall as a buy. I mean, we could talk about it all day long.
Right.
and It doesn't matter if they're not buying into it. So this is a good chance to move forward on that and see some real good urban redesign opportunities around the mall.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the
Thank you.
effort you
Thank
put into
you.
that.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gray. And the last announcement before I go through to the updates from city staff is that next Thursday, the 22nd, I'll be hosting the Metro Mayors Association, MAMA, here in Douglasville. We're going to be at Jesse Davis Park for our meeting.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
we're going to hone in on data centers. So the mayor of Fayetteville, Decatur, some of the mayors are really concerned about, data centers coming their community. So I'm the vice chair of Metro Mayors Association. Mayor Rusty Paul from Sandy Springs said, Mayor Robinson, you host us. So we're hosting next week. We'll have a panel from Georgia Power, Greystone Power, Water and Sewer Authority, Mr. Pumphrey. So we'll all talk about data centers, and then we're going to take a tour over on Riverside Parkway to look at some of the data centers. And so we'll be hosting the Metro Mayors next week, which is exciting for our community. All right. Without any other announcements, we'll go to updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Attorney Dotson. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Our police department deputy chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And our city manager department deputy city manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Just congrats again to Community Development, Dana Gregg and his team for championing that project and receiving that award. So just want to thank staff for that. But no, nothing else, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Staff reports, we don't have any? And no, comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to talk, please come forward and give us your name and address. Look like it's just staff. And any comments? I wanted to come on forward, Miss Jennifer Johns. I have an announcement. I forgot she's sitting quiet. So you all know Cameron Anderson was my executive assistant for a couple of years. But his degree was in political science from University of Georgia. We wanted to not clip his wings and let him move over to legal. So we have a very, very experienced, lots of, oh my gosh, she's just a wonderful personality. Her name is Jennifer Johns. And Jennifer, if you just tell the council a little bit about yourself. This is day 7, I think.
Yes, day
Okay.
7. Yes, I had to think about it for a second. But yes, we are
ma'am.
on day 7. My background is in marketing and community engagement with local schools, nonprofits, and just local businesses trying to generate sales from the restaurant industry. And so several years into that, I've decided to take a different route. And Mayor Robinson and the team has decided to bring me on board as the new assistant and getting to learn all the ropes of everything going on and several new faces throughout the last weeks. So definitely appreciate you guys and enjoying the opportunity so far.
Tell them about those 41 restaurants. If you can keep 41.
Yes. So I managed 5 stores here locally, but across the board, it was 41 stores total, trying to keep them engaged with all of their events and things that were going on with them locally, working with several area directors and our corporate team on the marketing side of things, keeping agendas going and meetings working and all the details that went behind all of that for the last 4 years.
It's wonderful. Welcome, and we're so excited to have you. And she's been great so far. Great personality, blending in with Kristen and deputy city manager, assistant city manager, and clerk. So we appreciate you. Welcome to the team, and you all show her much love and appreciation. But she's jumped into the circus. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Jennifer. Okay. No comments from citizens and delegates. If we don't have any other business, then this meeting is adjourned.